What if the place you are living in now becomes uninhabitable in the next 50 years? Imagine waking up one day to find the familiar landscape of your hometown irreversibly altered. The parks where you once played, the streets you walked, all now just a memory. This isn't a dystopian novel, nor is it a sci-fi movie. This is a possibility that our world faces today. Sounds unthinkable, right? But the reality might be closer than you think. Climate change, a phenomenon that's been making headlines for years, is the culprit. But what exactly is climate change? It's a long-term alteration in the average patterns that define our planet's weather. The key word here is long-term. It's not about what happens from week to week or even year to year. It's about a trend that develops over decades or even centuries. Imagine a seesaw that's not just going up and down but slowly tilting to one side. That's climate change. It's also important to distinguish between weather and climate change. Weather is what you experience when you step outside on any given day. In contrast, climate change is about the bigger picture, the long-term trends that shape our world's weather. Climate change, although a natural process, has been significantly accelerated by human activities. The seesaw, so to speak, is tilting faster and further than it naturally would, and that's causing a host of problems. Human activities have been the driving force behind the recent rapid changes in our climate. Let's dive a little deeper into what these human activities are. The first major player is the burning of fossil fuels. Whenever we drive our cars, power our homes, or run factories, we're often burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, or gas. These activities release carbon dioxide, a potent greenhouse gas, into the atmosphere. This carbon dioxide traps heat, acting like a blanket around the Earth and contributing to a rise in global temperatures. Another significant contributor is deforestation. Trees are essential in our fight against climate change because they absorb carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. However, when we cut down or burn forests for agricultural land, urban development, or logging, we not only lose these important carbon sinks, but we also release all the carbon they stored back into the atmosphere. This double-edged sword of deforestation exacerbates the warming effect. Lastly, let's talk about industrial processes. Industries, particularly those involved in the production of cement, steel, and chemicals, emit a variety of greenhouse gases, including carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. These gases, much like carbon dioxide, trap heat and contribute to the warming of our planet. Now you may ask, why is this a problem? Well, these human activities are increasing the concentration of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere at an unprecedented rate. The result is a phenomenon we know as the greenhouse effect. This effect is natural and necessary for life on Earth, but when amplified by human activities, it leads to an increase in Earth's average temperature, a phenomenon known as global warming. This global warming, in turn, drives climate change, leading to more frequent and severe weather events, rising sea levels, and shifts in wildlife populations and habitats, to name a few consequences. These activities have set in motion a dangerous cycle that's rapidly changing the Earth's climate. We've reached a critical point where we must understand the causes to effectively address and mitigate the consequences. The effects of climate change are far-reaching and devastating. This isn't some dystopian prediction of a far-off future, it's the stark reality we're living with right now. One of the most immediate and visible effects is the rise in global temperatures. Over the past century, our world has warmed by around 1 degree Celsius. While that may not sound like much, it's enough to have severe consequences for our planet. This increase in temperature is causing ice caps and glaciers to melt at an unprecedented rate. You see, these massive sheets of ice act like mirrors, reflecting the sun's heat back into space and helping to keep our planet cool. But as they melt, they're replaced by dark water and land that absorb more of the sun's heat. This creates a vicious cycle. The more ice that melts, the more heat is absorbed, which in turn causes more ice to melt. And it's not just the Arctic and Antarctica that are affected. Glaciers and mountain ranges around the world are also receding, threatening the water supply for hundreds of millions of people who rely on them. But the effects of climate change aren't limited to the polar and mountainous regions. We're also seeing more frequent and severe weather events. Heat waves are becoming hotter and longer, droughts more severe, and storms more intense. These events can cause devastating damage, destroying homes and infrastructure, disrupting food and water supplies, and even claiming lives. Then there's the rising sea levels. As the ice caps and glaciers melt, they're adding vast amounts of water to our oceans. This, combined with the expansion of seawater as it warms, is causing sea levels to rise. Coastal cities and low-lying islands are particularly vulnerable, with many at risk of being inundated. And let's not forget about the impacts on wildlife and ecosystems. Changes in temperature and precipitation patterns are disrupting the timing of natural events like migration and reproduction. Species are being forced to move to new areas or face extinction. Coral reefs, the rainforests of the sea, are bleaching and dying as the oceans warm and become more acidic. These effects are all interconnected. Rising temperatures exacerbate weather events and sea level rise. Melting ice caps contribute to sea level rise and disrupt ecosystems. More severe weather events can lead to further warming. It's a complex, tangled web of cause and effect, but perhaps the most devastating effect of climate change is its impact on us, on humanity. It's driving displacement and conflict, exacerbating inequality, threatening our food and water supplies, and endangering our health. Climate change is not just an environmental issue, it's a humanitarian crisis. And it's a crisis that we all have a role in addressing. Our actions today will determine the world we leave for future generations. The future of our planet hangs in the balance. As we cast our eyes towards the horizon, we can see a future where the effects of climate change, if left unchecked, could become even more pronounced. The world as we know it could be dramatically altered, with consequences that touch every corner of our globe and every aspect of our lives. Imagine a world where displacement becomes the norm rather than the exception. Rising sea levels could submerge coastal cities, forcing millions to leave their homes in search of higher ground. The toll of such mass migration is not just measured in the number of people who are displaced, but also in the social and political upheaval that could follow. Now consider our dinner tables and our water supplies. Changes in weather patterns could lead to more frequent and severe droughts and floods, disrupting agricultural production and leading to food and water insecurity. The breadbasket regions of today could become the dust bowls of tomorrow, and clean, safe water could become a scarce commodity in many parts of the world. Beyond the human impact, the world's rich tapestry of biodiversity could be unraveled. From the coral reefs teeming with life in our oceans, to the lush rainforests that serve as the lungs of our planet, climate change threatens to wipe out countless species and disrupt ecosystems. The loss of biodiversity could have ripple effects, affecting everything from the air we breathe to the food we eat. These are not mere possibilities. They are predictions based on our current trajectory. But let's not forget, these are not foregone conclusions. The future, while daunting, is not set in stone. We have the power to alter this course. We have the tools and the knowledge to curb our emissions, to adapt our societies, and to create a sustainable future. Yes, the future may seem bleak, but remember, it's not set in stone. And climate change is a monumental challenge, but it's one that we can tackle together. It's not a problem for the distant future or for someone else to solve. It's here, it's now, and it's ours to face. Remember, there are no small actions when it comes to combating climate change. Every bit of effort counts. Simple actions can make a significant difference. Think about reducing your energy use. Switch off lights when they're not needed. Unplug devices when they're fully charged. Consider walking or biking instead of driving, or carpooling when you can. Next, let's talk about renewable energy. It's the future, and supporting it is a powerful step towards a sustainable planet. If you're able, consider installing solar panels or using renewable energy providers. If not, advocate for renewable energy in your community. And then there's policy. The decisions made by our leaders have a tremendous impact on our planet's future. Stay informed about climate policies. Advocate for those that promote sustainability and hold those in power accountable. Remember, combating climate change is not just about saving the Earth. It's about ensuring a livable future for us, our children, and generations to come. We have the tools, we have the knowledge, and we have the power to make a difference. The future of our planet is in our hands. It's time to act.